So, Acho, who's under more pressure this weekend? Baker Mayfield or Patrick Mahomes?
The name that you said second, sir, Patrick Mahomes is under more pressure. Let us talk about it very concisely, if we shall. Patrick Mahomes has more accolades.
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes has more yards. Patrick Mahomes has more weapons. Patrick Mahomes is coach. He has a better resume. Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs team, they have more titles. He has more of everything else. Therefore, he also has more pressure.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes, he's sitting here and he's already done so many of these things. And so he's already set the bar incredibly high for himself. Whereas if I look at it, Baker Mayfield, I said this before, playing with house money. 2012, it was May of 2012, a month after I got drafted, Cleveland, the city of Cleveland, they built a casino called Jack Casino. I've told you this before, Marcellus, I didn't really have much to do.
You lived there. That's what you told me.
That year I got hurt in Cleveland, and so because I had the knee brace on my leg, I didn't have much to do. I watched some tape. I would venture up and I would stroll into the casino. Now, I would hobble into the casino because I told you I had that brace on my knee, hobbling into the casino. An interesting thing, Marcellus, I'd go in there with maybe $500 or $800. I was a rookie, didn't have much money. And as soon as I doubled that amount of money, or as soon as I exceeded my expectations monetarily, I'd be playing with house money.
Okay.
Because now if I lose, I'm not really losing my money. I'm losing the house's or the casino's money.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield right now is playing with house money. He's already exceeded the expectations of so many that have laid out there before him. I know he's exceeded your expectations. I know he's exceeded the majority of analysts' expectations out there. I know Baker Mayfield has already exceeded expectations that the world has laid upon Baker Mayfield based on how much he struggled the first 2 seasons. And as a result, Baker Mayfield is playing with house money. So when you're talking about who has more pressure going into this game this weekend, it's Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes got more of everything else. So obviously he got more pressure as well, big dog.
Wow. Well, you know, obviously I'm on the other side of this conversation. I think it's Baker Mayfield. Now, I want everyone to take a collective breath right now. I hope in that H, y'all can leave the word hater out of this conversation, because everyone thinks I'm a Baker Mayfield hater. Well, and I'm really just trying to reinstate what I objectively feel about Baker Mayfield, where he is in his career. Now, that said, let's talk about how this is going to be more pressure on Baker Mayfield. Let's use this example.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're talking about a casino. 2 people are betting the same exact amount, same wager. But one of them is rich and one of them is poor, or poorer by a large degree, which is Baker Mayfield versus Patrick Mahomes. Y'all lose that bet. The same wager, who is it going to have more effect on, more impact on? The poorer person, because the rich person has equity. Rich person's like, all right, well, go into my bank account. I still have that plus some. Baker Mayfield, when he loses this game, he will go into his resume of bank accounts and look and say, oh, insufficient funds, because he's still in balance in terms of who he is. Is he a game manager? Is he a game manager plus? Is he a franchise quarterback? He lives in that spectrum right now. And while living in that spectrum, he needs moments like this to get the stripes on his shoulders. Guess what? Whenever you see somebody with the stripes on your shoulder, you salute. When you see Patrick Mahomes out there, Super Bowl champion, MVP, you salute. When you see Baker Mayfield in the NFL, you don't salute anything. So he's trying to build something. All I'm saying is there's pressure on you to not even get to Mahomes' level, just to get to a level where they can depend on you, they can count on you, they can deem you a franchise quarterback. That's why there's more pressure on them.
This is about to be a heavyweight conversation. I love your take.
How much you weigh?
I love you. Okay, it's going to be a middleweight. A middleweight conversation. A middleweight. I'm not a heavyweight.
Let's go.
I love everything you said, but I will say this, and I think this might be my strongest point, so hopefully it's the knockout blow.
Ding, ding, ding.
There's nothing Baker Mayfield can do to wipe out the success of his season. There's only one thing Patrick Mahomes can do to maintain the success of his season. There's nothing Baker Mayfield can do to wipe out the success of his season. He goes into this Chiefs game and they get blown out. We might be mad for a day, a couple hours, but you're still going to say the Browns made the playoffs for the first time since 1994, for the first time winning a playoff game since 1994, winning 11 wins as well. Like, the Browns still accomplished something they haven't done in 25 years when it comes to winning 11 games, when it comes to making the playoffs since 2002. You're still going to say the Browns have accomplished a whole lot. But Patrick Mahomes, there's only one thing he can do to maintain the success of his season, and that is win. See, Baker Mayfield, Marcellus can go out there and he can play a close game. Baker Mayfield can go out there and he can play well. Or Baker Mayfield can go out there and he can win. 3 options still yield success for Baker Mayfield. Play a close game. Still going to get our praise because nobody's expecting you to win, Browns. Go out there and play well, Baker. Still going to get applause because, Baker, if you play well and the Browns lose, that's fine because you played well. Or you go out there and win, and, Baker, it's a standing ovation because you won.
Yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes, big dog, it doesn't matter if Patrick Mahomes plays well if the Browns lose. Excuse me, if the Chiefs lose.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if Patrick Mahomes, if he goes out there with phenomenal stats. The only thing Patrick Mahomes can do to assure success is if they win. And as a result, Patrick Mahomes, he only has one option. Baker Mayfield has 3 options. More pressure for the man that only has one option.
Oh, look at me, boy. You know when I spread my notes out, when I get comfortable with my notes, and this pen is working, and these ears are on, but them eyes are down, you in trouble, big dog. Okay, let's talk about this. Because my first take was in Baker failure. It was Baker losing this game. Let's just talk about the case that Baker actually makes this a contest, and then let's talk about if he actually wins. If he makes this a contest, you know how he will make this a contest? By getting into a shootout with Patrick Mahomes. I told you before, of all quarterbacks in the Super Bowl era, who averages the most points per game at the quarterback position? You know
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Now let's talk about the fact that you're going to go against a guy who's going to score. All right. So then I'm Baker Mayfield, and I'm sitting there like, we got this strong running game, good defense, and I'm adequate, if not more, at the quarterback position. What will I do? All right, you want to get into a shootout like we did in college? Let's go to war. Uh-oh. Problem is, everyone on that team, including Baker Mayfield knows we're not so good in these shootouts with Baker Mayfield. Because when Baker Mayfield has to throw the ball 35 times or more, shootout, he's 5-14 in his career. Okay, so not a ton of confidence. Doesn't mean you can't do it. You won 5 times, but you lose 3 times as much as you win in those situations. So not a winning formula for Baker Mayfield to go out there and get a shootout. But let's just say he wins the shootout, big dog. I love you so much. This is why I know I'm not a hater. I give you success, Baker Mayfield. And that still doesn't guarantee you a position in the NFL as you desire as a franchise quarterback. Look at your Super Bowl winning quarterback. Let's say Baker wins this game, wins the next game, wins the Super Bowl. And everyone's like, Baker Mayfield's a franchise quarterback. Oh, pause. Au contraire, mon frere. Has anyone ever heard of Trent Dilfer? I love Trent Dilfer. I think he's like him and Bucky Brooks, my favorite football analysts. All y'all, yep, you too. All y'all. Them 2 are the ones I listen to. I said, oh, let me steal that and plagiarize that. Tremendous. Trent Dilfer wins the Super Bowl. We know heavily because of the defense, of course, and the running game. But he wins the Super Bowl, and guess what? Was he on the team the next year? Okay, let's not go to Trent Dilfer, because that's not even the best case example. This one is. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield and Brad Johnson. Do you remember Brad Johnson?
Of course, 2002?
2002 Buccaneers. Defense comes to mind again.
Of course.
And when Baker Mayfield, running game comes to mind, there's always a supporting cast. But let's look at this full screen and describe what we're seeing on this full screen. This is Brad Johnson in success. In a championship winning year, look at the comps right here. Win losses. Okay, you look at Brad Johnson over there to Baker Mayfield. Passing yards per game. Same, if not nod to Brad Johnson. Passing touchdowns to interception. Basically the same right there. Maybe a nod to Baker, maybe a nod to Brad, but they're the same. Completion percentage and passer rating. In success, that's with the cherry on top of the sundae. Brad Johnson still had to take his lumps. Even the next year, some say he played better even though he threw more interceptions. The point is, he still wasn't looked at as a focal point or a face of a franchise. Even in success, Baker Mayfield is not going to be looked at in that same respect. So my point is, there's a lot of pressure on you, Baker Mayfield, to make your way. And even in success, it's not a guarantee because of your career resume.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how I want to dissect that.
I know.
I want to figure out how to want to dissect that.
Whatever.
First, I'm going to talk your Brad Johnson point because let me quickly dispute that. The Brad Johnson that you just showed us is 34 years old. Baker Mayfield is 25 years old.
Yeah.
So there's a quick discrepancy there about age, and that matters. But I think what you just said actually plays into my next take. I didn't know if you were going to throw me a fastball right down the middle of the plate, but I was ready. I was ready to knock it out the park, and you did so. You made a fatal mistake. Let's talk about this, Sel.
Is it over my head?
Baker Mayfield's a top 10 quarterback, but he has a bottom 10 perception. The two biggest Go ahead.
Come out. When you do something like that, dog, we got to learn each other. Pause. That was a beautiful say. Say it again for the people out there. See, I'm not a hater. I want to
dog.
Say that again.
You look good today, by the way. You paid me.
I got a little makeup right here. Other than that, I'm good.
You look good, by the way.
Let's hear it.
Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback with bottom 10 perception. The
say
two categories that we talk about as far as quarterbacks, passing touchdowns and interceptions. Baker Mayfield's 15th in passing touchdowns, but he's 6th in interceptions. You average that out, that's top 10. That's 10 and a half. You do the math, mathematicians. Now, because he's a top 10 quarterback with bottom 10 perception, then even if Baker Mayfield goes out there and doesn't perform great, the world will be like, well, Baker's not that good because he has bottom 10 perception. When in reality, Baker Mayfield is that good. Only sixth in interceptions on the season. Let's talk about that. So Baker Mayfield is actually very good. But the world doesn't think he's very good.
Why do we think that?
Because...
Come on now. There's wisdom in the crowd.
Correct.
So we ain't dumb.
The reason is you don't get a second chance at a first impression, or a first impression is a lasting impression.
His rookie year was tremendous.
His rookie year was good for a Browns quarterback, but it wasn't good for a quarterback. His second year was atrocious for a Browns quarterback.
He broke Peyton Manning's rookie record, and it wasn't good? Okay.
Nah, I mean, let's be real.
No, we are being real. You break Peyton Manning's record, you did something.
You can break a record and still not be good for a quarterback.
I'm gonna let your take die on its own.
Because Baker Mayfield, pull it up. Baker Mayfield wasn't good his rookie year.
He certainly wasn't good his second year.
64% completion percentage. League average is 65.
That's better than this year.
Yeah, but I'm just going to do some
I'm just saying that's better than this year.
14 interceptions.
We doing that?
Baker Mayfield was good for a Browns quarterback.
He's damn near there this year. All I'm saying is he's regressing. You want to hear something? This is what's amazing about Baker Mayfield, because I don't agree with your poetic line, but I understand and respect that poetic line. Baker Mayfield has regressed every single year in one category that's going to come out in the fireworks. Yards per game. You know what they are looking at? Every year, they ask less of Baker Mayfield to get more from their team.
Is that a problem?
Hell yeah, because you're minimizing me. So if you keep minimizing me, guess what? One day you're going to make the verdict that you don't need me. That's why you're not a franchise quarterback. Bruh, when you want to get to the NFL, you want impact. You want to win, but as Kobe Bryant says, let's win through me.
But you can minimize me and maximize we. Now that's
another poem.
You can minimize.
You got a lot of poems, but bad takes. Great poems. Let's go.
You can minimize me and maximize we, and that's what the Browns are doing.
And you turn into Brad Johnson?
I don't care.
Or Trent Dilfer.
But Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl, and so did Trent Dilfer. And I think as far as pressure, if Baker Mayfield wins a Super Bowl, what talking about pressure?
Hold on.
Ain't no pressure, coach.
Look, I don't know. The offseason is for the fifth-year option.
Yes, sir.
But right now, it's in balance. Is he going to even get the fifth-year option? Like, people are not sold, convicted on Baker Mayfield. There's not that level of conviction. There's a level of belief. There's a level of trust, which is the things we don't see. But there's categories. There are categories where he's not getting better. He is a career, 61% passer? Come on, big dog. Like, be objective.
I am. And being objective, yards per game to me isn't indicative of a quarterback if you're getting better or not. Now, we can talk yards per attempt. We can talk yards per attempt.
Oh, stop. We can talk yards per game.
Because
they calculate that.
Yards per game is dictated by how many times you pass the ball. If you have the best rushing tandem in the National Football League, I don't need you to pass.
So they can have. Now you're making another point for the organization. You've been through contract negotiations. No matter how confident you are walking in, you have to respect the counter blows, the counter punches. One of the counter punches will be, hey, bruh, we're doing better when you're doing worse, or we're doing better when you're doing less.
Thank you.
But
there's a difference.
But that's not going to help you. That's going to help us in contract negotiations. Think about it. Brad Johnson, back 20 years ago, had a higher yards per game, and they looked at him with question marks. They looked at him as suspect, and he won a championship. Brother, you can't walk into a meeting talking about, oh, they're balling, and I'm just helping and an assistant, and now take care of me. They're going to say, no, we're going to take care of we,
I think it depends. If you're Baker Mayfield, it depends on this. Let's look at the organization, because at this point in time, Brown's new GM, Brown's new head coach.
Okay.
Marcellus, I do not care about how big, how lavish, how glamorous a puzzle piece is. Does it fit? I don't care how big, lavish, or glamorous a puzzle piece is. Does the puzzle piece fit? Sir, if you're looking at a $15,000 bracelet, And
That's
it's
it?
a 15. Okay, let's call it. You got big money.
I'm about to say, that's like the gold ones you were wearing yesterday.
Let's talk about a $100,000 bracelet.
Too much.
It's no, we there now. You got a $100,000 bracelet, and the bracelet is comprised of interconnected diamonds. And one of the diamonds falls out. Oh my God, one of the diamonds done fell out. Now, Sel, I could go out and I could buy a $50,000 diamond to try to replace in this bracelet. But what if it don't fit, big dog? I need a piece that fits to this $100,000 bracelet. If Baker Mayfield is a piece that fits the Cleveland Browns bracelet, then I do not care if he has 200 yards per game or 500 yards per game. Because the leader in yards per game this year, Deshaun Watson, him and their team was 4-12.
Yeah, but would they take Deshaun Watson if they could, all things equal? Stop it.
Yes.
Okay, another thing is, you know what an organization would say? I've been in these meetings. I was balling in these meetings. I had nothing on my resume that looked bad at the time. I was in negotiations a couple times I did. And a couple times I even went in there fully strapped with a resume. They still will beat me up. They're like, well, you don't always keep discipline on contain. The hell? I got 10 sacks. What you talking about? Contain on discipline. They find things. And one thing we could find with Baker Mayfield is anybody can hand the ball off. We don't want to hear that. And he's more than that. I know he's more than that. But that's going to be the pushback. And another thing about that bracelet, I've had that happen several times. You know what you do? Just keep spinning it so it faces you. They can't see it. You don't need to buy another bracelet. In this situation, I'm looking at Baker Mayfield. In 3 years, we keep spinning it. We keep spinning who he is. We keep spinning what the effect is on the team. But the point is, there has to be a moment where Baker Mayfield stands out and says, it's all because of me. Here are his moments. Baker Mayfield in college had tremendous moments. We know he won the Heisman. In the pros, what do we got? Last week against the Steelers team that limped into the playoffs. You see already how that started? 5 touchdown passes in a shootout win against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. 4 touchdowns in that win against the Titans. All right, he was killing them at halftime, 38-7. 3 more points in the second half, probably didn't need them. Obviously, they won the game. But the point of it is, either make this team need you, or you got to have those moments, or during negotiations,
here's the problem, big dog. I didn't want to have to come to this bullet just yet. I was saving this bullet for later in the show. But Marcellus, you about to make me empty the clip, so we up here. I got to empty the clip.
Always.
The problem in our current society and our problem in sports, Sel, and you're making this mistake. You only look at offensive numbers as positive attributes, meaning Baker Mayfield, all he's doing is handing the ball off. Anybody can do that. That's what the Browns are eventually going to realize.
That's what they're going to say.
Sure, that's problematic. Why? Because what does Baker Mayfield actually do? Let's talk about the 8 quarterbacks that are left in the playoffs right now. 8 quarterbacks left in the playoffs right now.
You want to do 8?
But since week 8, Baker Mayfield's only thrown 1 interception. That's the least of the remaining quarterbacks in the playoffs. You got names like Aaron Rodgers has thrown 3, Drew Brees, he's thrown 3, Patrick Mahomes, guys like him have thrown 5, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson at 6, Tom Brady at 8, and Jared Goff at 9. Let's not forget the great things that Baker Mayfield does just because they are defensive and protective statistics as opposed to offensive and aggressive statistics. Baker Mayfield is not just out here doing what anybody else can do, because actually he's beating Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen in that category, the second most important category when it comes to quarterbacks.
You done?
I am done.
Okay, because you just gave me a top 8, right? Let's go to the bottom 8. Baker Mayfield, lowest completion percentage this season of any of the remaining quarterbacks. So he's the least accurate. And the highest pressure moment, you the least accurate? I don't know how much confidence you have in him. Also, the fewest total yards per game of any of the remaining quarterbacks. Okay, so you like top 8. I like bottom 8, too. Let's talk about 8. Let's talk about the fact that Baker Mayfield is going to ride in there tomorrow. Yeah, last week, dog, I had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. What'd it do? And they're going to say, have you been studying football? Have you been studying the NFL? Because in the last 20 seasons, Acho, 3 other quarterbacks besides Baker have started their playoff career with 3 touchdowns and no interception game. But none of the previous 3 were able to carry that forward in the postseason. Culpepper, Pennington, Alex Smith. Smack. All I'm saying is be objective, keep perspective.
Objectively, let me ask you this. I know the answer, and it's not a trap question unless you want to get trapped in the question.
You want to go to the trap? Damn.
I went to private school.
Well, you talking about bullets in one part, and now you talking about the trap.
I'm trying to speak your language. I'm here with you. I'm trying to speak your language. You understand bullets? Let's talk bullets. Okay, I understand Bible.
Let's go.
Let's talk about this, big dog.
All right,
what do you care more about? Do you care more about yards, or do you care about more touchdowns or your interceptions?
Touchdowns first, interceptions, and yards are kind of the same.
The reason that yards should end to you and everyone else be irrelevant, when the Buccaneers lost to the Saints 38-3, Drew Brees only had 222 yards.
Oh, we doing
That's
this.
less than Baker Mayfield's average.
That's coming
but
up.
But he had 4 touchdowns. I don't care so much about yards, Marcellus. Yards to me are a superfluous stat. Dak Prescott, he still led his team in yards, but he was 1-3 at the time. Deshaun Watson led the league in yards, but they were 4-12. Don't talk to me about yardage. Yardage is not an indicator of success. Let's talk about scoring touchdowns. Let's talk about protecting the football. Baker Mayfield, the reason he does not have pressure is because of the entirety of this argument right here. You have bottom 10 expectations for Baker Mayfield.
Oh, don't go back.
Even though he's giving
Don't play the hit. Hey, if you've been at the club long enough, you don't heard that song already. I ain't dancing twice, DJ.
I was playing to it as we were getting out. Okay, I was letting everybody leave the club to that track.
I might turn my phone off during this game because you and I will not pay attention because we just trying to win for Monday's show. This is going to be fun.